large, or something that will not be, will not play with the light. Light tends to play on small, busy patterns like stripes and zigzags, plaids, or what have you. So that was that. So you want to choose jewel tones. Basically, rich pale colors work best. And then I know we have women's work that we have that we wear white for. So if you're making a presentation for those sessions accordingly, where I suggest that you wear an off-white or a light beige or something like that that will still read as white on the camera. For men that wear your dark suits, black suits that you usually wear navy blue or gray. If you must wear black, it can be like a dark gray, and or something to counteract and play with, that will play more camera friendly. But definitely stay away from busy patterns like zigzags or shiny satins or something, anything like that. So after we've gotten our lighting straight, we learn what we see what we're gonna wear, have our wardrobe together, then we wanna know, where are we going to be? What's your environment going to be like? After seeing you, which is the main thing the audience looks at, is your environment. They see you, and now keep in mind, all of this is happening in the first 8 to 10 seconds. Now, the viewer is tuning in. They know they want to, they're tuning in to see you, but you know, we're kind of nosy by nature. So, so they're looking at what's around you, where you are, pictures, plants, posters. They're all good, and you know, for personal taste and home decor. But we don't want it to be distracting. Don't want to be distracting, because we want the focus to be on you and on your presentation. So if you have pictures in the background, whether they be photos of the family or scenic, make sure they're small to medium size. Um, these examples I have here don't have any pictures, but the young lady with the clouds behind her, that's fine. Look like she's, you know, it's kind of pleasing to the eye, because it's nature. I don't know what the glare of the light is. She might have to fix that. But the lady on the in the green blouse making a presentation, there's nothing to distract us, nothing behind us. Her, it's going to keep you focused on whatever it is she's talking about. She's engaged and engaging. So you don't want your audience trying to see who's in the picture or what the picture is, instead of paying attention to you. Plants are the same, but plants are the worst. Do not ever put a plant directly behind you, because it can look like it's growing out of your head. So you don't want to do that. You want to place it just over the shoulder, just behind you on one side or the other. You can have two plants or whatever to kind of frame you, or just have them placed strategically, so that my thought wouldn't be, oh, that's a nice plant, but why does it look like it's growing out of his head? Um, for instance, I don't know if some of you tune into the Chief Bishop's Bible studies on Sunday or Wednesday nights or Sunday nights. He has a lot of plants around him. That's nice. It's very relaxing. But they're to the side. They're not directly behind him. If they are, there's not one particular plant that's just like shooting out behind his head, looking like Medusa or something. But you know, you want to create a nice environment so your audience can be relaxed. And I, you know, during the Bible studies, I can pay attention to the lesson and the slides that he is presenting, that and not what's around him. So you want your audience to feel at home. You want them to feel relaxed. You want them to feel like they're there with you, even though they can't physically be there. Vases are the same. If you have a tall floor vase, or you know, you may not want to be just plain and drab. You know, you want it to look nice, but you don't want to take the focus away from what you're presenting. So you can have vases if you have a shelf or a fireplace or something behind you. Put flowers in it or something, but like I said, place them on strategically to the side or somewhere. And you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to have your audience looking at anything else or paying attention to anything else besides what you're presenting. So you figure out, okay, so what room am I going to be in? If I'm going to be in the kitchen or den or the living room, choose wisely. Let your space be con- co- conducive to your presentation. Somewhere that's appropriate. If you're going to be um, talking about a healthy recipe or something, yeah, you may be in the kitchen, but make sure the clutter um, is neat. Make sure you have it neat and organized. Okay. And so you want to choose whatever room that's going to make, you want the camera and the background should be conducive to your presentation. So take a picture. Take a picture here again, test everything. Take a picture ahead of time with your phone or have someone to film you practicing your presentation or somewhat going through it in the area that you'll be presenting in ahead of time and look at it. See for yourself what your audience sees. You could be outside, but this gentleman here is a nice sunset. He's like maybe on the beach at the ocean or somewhere, but it looks like smoke is coming out of his head. Be aware of your background. I'm like, what, is his head about to blow off, smoke coming out of his ears or what? The lady in the middle here, is she falling out of a tree or what's going on? I know she's probably not presenting something, but the young lady here on this in the green blouse, she's got a nice black background. Um, the stripes are fine because it kind of breaks up the plain solid patterns, and you would pay more attention to what she is saying in her presentation. And so be aware of your background. Make sure, like I said, take a picture, look at it for yourself, see what your audience sees. And that way you'll be more comfortable in knowing that you're making an impact with what you're presenting. And finally, can we hear you? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Can we hear you? And make sure whatever device you're using to record or film your video, that it has an adequate microphone to pick up your voice from a distance. It does no good to have an outstanding presentation if we can't hear you or understand what you're saying. Like I said, all of this is happening in the first 8 to 10 seconds of your presentation. If we can't hear you, if we can't see you, if your clothes are look like we're paying more attention to what you've got on than to what you're saying, then that's the substance of your presentation is lost. So you don't want that to happen. On the other hand, you don't want to shout or over exaggerate in order to be heard. Here again, do a test run. Have someone to record you or record yourself. You want to be natural and appealing, not too soft. You don't want to sound sexy, too soft, not overbearing. You want to be like the three bears. You want it to be just right. So, can we hear you? Make sure that there's no extraneous noises in the background, like fans blowing or music playing from the other room or your cell phone. Turn your cell phone off. You want to be respectful of your own self, and the people that are paying attention. Because if you don't want their cell phone going off while you're presenting, distracting you from your thought or from your presentation, you don't want your cell phone going off, distracting them from or distracting you because you're going to jump and look and be, oh, I'm sorry, maybe, lose your train of thought or what have you. So cell phones on silent when you are doing your presentation. Make sure you're present in the moment because you want your audience to be present and in the moment. Few last tips, whether you're using a phone or camera to film your presentation, use a tripod. Use a tripod. There's nothing worse than trying to watch something or trying to keep focus on a picture and it's moving around. Now, we've seen that in some of the screenshots of the different people that we got on calls, and they're moving around the room and they may not be presenting anything, but when they're moving or the phone turns around and it kind of makes you dizzy. So when your phone is moving around and you're making a presentation, you're going to lose your audience. Use a tripod so that this focus is steady and focused on you. There are phone attachments for tripods. You can get them for about $5 at Walmart, or some tripods, if you have to go out and get one, I tell you, it's worth the investment. Some tripods come with a phone attachment. If they don't, like I said, they're very reasonable. If you're going to film on your phone, which most phones have a very high quality cameras nowadays, make sure your phone is turned horizontally. That way you'll get a full screen picture when it is shown on any other platform. If it comes across on anybody else's home PC, or they have the capability of putting it on TV. You can transfer your views from phone to TV. Make sure your phone is turned horizontally so you don't get the black lines that will cut you off or border you off when you have your phone vertically. So always put your phone horizontally. Move with a purpose. If you're going to move around, move with a purpose. Not only do you not want your camera moving around, you should not be doing a lot of moving around as well. I'm doing a little bit of moving around because I'm having to get my papers and what have you, but I'm hoping that these tips have come across as helpful, because if you keep moving, then your artists, they're gonna want to know, what are you moving for? Why, and that's why I preempted mine ahead of time. I got my notes to the side to try to keep me on track. And that's why I was able to catch myself to see that, oh, I don't think they can see my slides, and was able to go back and share that with you. But move with a purpose. Keep your audience with you and focused on what you're presenting. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing a puppet show or doing a healthy living recipe and you have to move around, that's fine, because you're moving with a purpose. It's going along with your presentation. So you want to just do it with intention. So the bottom line here is just to keep it simple. Keep it simple, make it a relaxed and inviting atmosphere. All extras should be geared toward your presentation. So this is rocking your presentation so that you can have the best live stream ever. I'm here for questions if you have it. Any,
Thank you, Sabrina.
Yeah.
You all can click on the part that says participants, and you can raise your hand if you have a question for Sabrina, and we'll address those right away here before we go right to our next break. Any questions for Sabrina?
Let me see if I can make sure I can get to it where I can see the hands.
Okay, we got a couple of hands here. Okay, so Sister Dimitri, you have a question?
So no, I don't.
Okay, your hand is up. Put your hand down.
Oh, that was from earlier, Chief. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So then, what about another hand is up? Is Sister Nita? Do you have a question?
Yes, sir. I was on the question about filming horizontal, but the other people see it as horizontal, and they can't hold that. If you turn your phone, it's gonna still be crooked. We had that problem Sunday with our local temple.
Now, Sabrina, sometimes aren't the tablets can be different than a phone? Because sometimes a tablet has to be held vertical and phones are often held horizontal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's a possibility. I think because of the nature of your telephone, most telephones have the camera capability of flipping around. I know tablets do as well, but if you turn because the screen capacity of your tablet is much larger, and I don't think you have to turn it horizontally. Phones, because of the screen capacity, this is my take. I'm not very sure exactly. There are some technical presentations that will be coming up a little bit later, and they may be better able to answer that question on why. And I've had that issue as well with tablets or iPads. You don't have to turn them horizontally, but with a phone, it's better too. I've had that experience. When you hold them vertically, you get the bars, the black border on either side.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Any more questions up here? Okay. All right, Sister Moore, thank you so much. And what temple are you affiliated with? I'm sorry. Hold on. I didn't muted you up. I got too many things going on here. Hold on, Sabrina. Try that now. What temple are you with, Sabrina?
I am with Temple number 6, Church of the Living God, Temple number 6 in Nashville, Tennessee, Pastor Elder James Travis, and First Lady Lynette Travis.
Thank you. We're going to post your email contacts if folks have further questions after this meeting. We'll do that a little later on. Okay. Before we go into our break, we're going to share a game I want you to log into. You'll need your cell phone to do this. And at the end of the, we should be out of here by 12:30, 12:45. And so at the end of today's virtual Bnac, the top 3 winners we'll mail out some Amazon gift cards. All right. So now get your cell phones before you make a dash for the kitchen or make a dash for your stash. Get your cell phones out because I'm going to share a screen with you now that you will need. Let me see if I got it right here. To give me a minute. Make sure I got it right here. Okay. Let's see if I can share it with you. Okay, let me start by this. Going here, going here, going here. This. Going here, going here, going here. This. Okay. Going here. Here. There we go. Going here. So this log on get your phone. Log on to www.cahoots. That's K as in kangaroo. Here. There we go. Going here. So this log on get your phone. Log on to www.cahoots. That's K as in kangaroo. Here. There we go. Going here. So this log on to www.cahoots. Go ahead. Here, there, going here. So, this is So we're almost there, almost to 50. I do want you to know that we are live streaming on YouTube. So if you know of anybody who could not get into this session, they can go to YouTube and in the search bar, put in Bishop Waddell, and I'm live streaming on my YouTube channel. We could have asked you all to log back in, and we could have corrected and added more people into the meeting, but we're about almost a third of the way through, so let's continue moving on. So please text somebody if they want to view Bnac. We're live streaming on YouTube right now. Okay, it's time to play. Can I get two more before I go? Once I start in, that's it.
What?
Two more before we go?
How do you, I can't get into it.
Okay, did you go to your internet on your cell phone?
Yes.
All right, so you got to www.kahoot.
I did.
You got the website? Are you on the right website?
Let me go back to it. I was trying to start over.
Yeah.
Kahoot Learning Games?
It's just some ask for a pen. You want a pen? Keep looking around your screen.
I never saw that.
Okay.
Kahoot it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's loading.
Okay, brother Tony, I've unmuted you. You'll give Sabrina some help here. She said, where'd you find your your pen?
I'm there now. Enter a pen.
You're there now. Okay, now you know you one of our teachers now. We try to, you know.
I know.
Okay, you know. Okay, all right. Okay. Are you in now? Give us your name. You got to name yourself.
Okay, got a name. All right, I'll just give myself a name.
There we go.
Okay. It says
okay. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. We're ready to get started, so get your phone in your hand. Sister Fanoy, please stop annoying Overseer, please. Focus. I see y'all annoying each other. Focus. Okay, so it's about, I'm gonna do 3 questions now. And we'll take about 2-minute break and come back, and we'll start the next session. Angel Green, they'll be talking about the best way to deal with youth and young adults in a virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? Okay, hold on, children. Let's see here. I'm gonna get sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? Okay, hold on, children. Let's see here. I'm gonna get sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? Okay, hold on, children. Let's see here. Sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? Okay, hold on, children. Let's see here. Sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? Okay, hold on, children. Mississippi. All right. Let's see. You got sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? Hold on, Mississippi. I'm sharing my screen. All right. Well, you got to look at the screen. You got sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? See my screen? Hold on, Mississippi. I'm sharing my screen. All right. Well, you got the screen. You got sound virtual environment. Here we go with the game. Y'all ready? See my screen? Hold on, Mississippi. I'm sharing my screen. All right. Next question. You got the screen. hopefully you all were able to score some points on that one. Oh, I don't want to kill the music. We'll see. Okay. Well, it is 11:40 here in St. Louis, and the next presentation will start at 11:45. Take a 5-minute grab and dab. I'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Make sure that everybody know that they can get everything on YouTube right now. They can go to YouTube, and in the window, they can search for Bishop Waddell. All right, in 5 minutes, we start the next presentation. Green. All right, Joy, where are you? I see you. I see you. Okay, I'm gonna set you all up. I see you. All right, 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes.
You good.
Okay, Joy and Angel, you guys are unmuted. So Joy and Angel, go ahead and make sure you're prepared to share your screens. We're going to start with you. I'm going to give you a little more time, obviously. So I thought I could spotlight both of y'all at the same time, but apparently I can't do that. So I need you all to, Joy, do you have a PowerPoint? Or,
No.
Okay, cool. And Angel, you do have yours to share?
Yes.
Okay, so Joy, why don't you go first?
Okay.
When we get back, and then we'll highlight you and we'll go from there. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. And that your headshot was really nice. Angel, y'all pictures are beautiful.
Thank you.
Both of
Thank
y'all,
you.
good grief. Yeah, y'all go ahead and buy me something. 3 minutes, guys.
Okay.
I'm about to go to the other door. While
Jacob. Jacob, when I start presenting, you're not going to be able to talk, period, okay?
I'm turning blue in the dark. I could be in the white.
If you're done eating,
Okay, all right. It's time for part
put
two.
that
So go
top on
ahead
that food and put it in the microwave.
bring the you probably you don't want to boil that smoked sausage until it pops. Some of y'all boil your. I can show y'all how to cook smoked sausages. So I think people like Bishop Taylor, they boil that smoked sausage to pop on the end. You're boiling too long. So if you're trying to get your smoked sausage and it popped on the end right now, that's way too long. That's way too long. All right, so let's bring up Mr. Joy here. And remember now, let people know that they can do it on YouTube right now. Let's see, we're gonna spotlight you and we're gonna unmute you. Hold on a second, Joy, we're almost ready. Okay, hello, Joy.
Hi.
Evangelist Morgan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right, so let's go ahead and I want to share Evangelist Morgan's bio. Hold on a second here. Okay, hello, Joy.
Hi.
Evangelist Morgan, how are you doing? Joy Morgan.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oklahoma. All right. So let's go ahead and I want to share Evangelist Morgan's bio. Hold on a second. She is currently seeking her PhD from Oklahoma. Okay, hello, Joy.
Hi.
Evangelist Morgan, how are you doing? Joy Morgan.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oklahoma. All right. So let's go ahead and I want to share Evangelist Morgan's bio. Hold on a second. She is currently seeking her PhD from Oklahoma. Okay, hello, Joy.
Hi.
Evangelist Morgan, how are you doing? Joy Morgan.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oklahoma. All right. So let's go ahead and I want to share Evangelist Morgan's bio. Hold on a second. She is currently seeking her PhD from Oklahoma. Okay, hello, Joy.
Hi.
Evangelist Morgan, how are you doing? Joy Morgan. Go ahead and tell us what you got for us today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go over, I believe it's 5 questions that Chief gave me to address this morning, and then I'll get out of the way for Mrs. Angel to come on and do her portion. But my portion is going to address towards young adults in the church and virtual meetings. And then afterward, I will also send to Chief to get out to everyone a little cheat sheet that addresses all the things we're going to go over. So the first question that Chief asked that I address is, what are the top 3 challenges when attempting to reach your particular audience, which is young adults, and how do you best address it? So the first challenge that comes when reaching young adults is where to advertise and where to get the word out. many of you may have known this, but Facebook isn't always the best avenue to reach young adults, because Facebook is becoming more and more of a, I don't want to say older generation, but an older generation social media avenue. So what you also want to include when you're getting the word out about your virtual meetings or virtual conferences for young adults is using multiple platforms. Multiple platforms may be Instagram, it may be getting a Snapchat, it may be sending out a text message. I've come to learn that sending out a personal text with the information for your virtual meeting tends to work better than just using one outlet or just using Facebook or something like that. So keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind that it could be a challenge when addressing young adults because oftentimes they have sporadic school and work duties. So a lot of young adults work in the evening times, or they have school classes. And so you have to consider all those schedules when you're creating a virtual event for young adults. You may want to avoid using weekends and avoid evenings, because like I said, a lot of times they have jobs that cause them to work at night. So what I would suggest for that is having multiple dates. For instance, I know that our young adult ministry, we recently started a virtual girl talk. And so instead of just having that girl talk on one specific day, we're going to have it bi-weekly. So for those who were not able to make it because maybe they were studying for finals, or maybe they had a job obligation, they're going to be able to catch it in 2 weeks. And so having multiple dates. Also include young adults in the planning of your virtual young adult session that you're planning for your church. So ask them for their feedback and take those ideas into consideration. So the second question is, how important is pre-planning prior to going live? And what are 3 things you should consider when pre-planning? How important is pre-planning, and what are 3 things you should consider? So pre-planning is very important. If your virtual workshop for young adults or virtual session that you're planning is last minute, people will know. So what you want to do is have an agenda. You want to have an agenda, and it's always good to send out that agenda beforehand. I know that Chief is really good at this, at sending out his agenda before the meeting starts so that they know what's coming up. If they're going to be a few minutes late, like they know exactly what they'll be catching when they get there. Also, you want to be aware of the limitations of your platform. So if you're using a specific avenue for your virtual meeting, whether it be Zoom or whether it be some other type of conferencing or video conference or a tool, then you want to be aware of the limitations of that tool prior to getting there. The third question is, how do you keep your audience's attention and keep them engaged? So we're talking about young adults here. So how do you keep their attention and keep them engaged? Keep in mind the attention span of the average adult. And most of the time, our attention span is not for an hour. It's between 20 and 30 minutes, research says. So keep that in mind. But also teach about topics that are relevant to that audience that you're trying to reach. So teach about, it may not be good to teach about retirement to young adults, because that's not necessarily the topics that are relevant right now in their lives. So in order to get those relevant topics, ask them questions, invite them to share their thoughts, and have maybe a focus group of young adults where you get them together and say, what is relevant? What are some issues? What are some struggles that you would like our church to address? And then getting together on those topics and then presenting those within your virtual young adult workshops. Create a non-judgmental atmosphere. It's very easy for young adults to, I guess, lose that attention for the workshop if it feels like it's in a judgy manner. Sometimes they'll click off quickly if they feel like the presentation is creating some type of judgment. So make sure that you create a non-judgmental atmosphere for your workshops. The fourth question is, what can be done to retain your audience and encourage them to return? What can be done to retain your audience and encourage them to return. Like I said earlier, allow them, and I can't stress this enough, allow them to be co-planners of the workshop, like asking for suggestions, asking them for topics, asking them what dates work best. If you're planning this virtual young adult workshop for your district or for your church, get a few young adults together, allow them to co-plan or to co-lead the workshop and come up with times that works best for the majority of young adults. We don't want to put something out there that they're not going to be able to attend. So make sure that we're including them and allowing them to be co-planners. And also, as we said, make it interesting and relevant. Just like in a lot of things in the social media world and in the virtual world, if you don't grab someone's attention in the first 5 to 10 seconds, you've lost them for the remainder of the session. So you want to plan something that's relevant, that's going to be interesting, that is going to help them with whatever they're going through. So be sure that in those first few moments that you put enough content out there that's going to grab them in and keep them. And know how to relate to your audience. With young adults, they tend to be more interested in presentations that keep it real. So if we're having a virtual workshop that addresses the 5 most pertinent struggles that young adults go through, make sure that you've gauged young adults, found out what those struggles are, but then as you're presenting it, keep it real with them. Don't come off as like a I'm beyond you or a holier than thou attitude or judgmental attitude, because they'll tune that out. Don't be afraid to, especially for those in ministry, pastors and leaders who are going to be teaching and going to be spreading the gospel or conducting the Bible study, don't be afraid to open up about your struggles and what you've gone through, because oftentimes it's those testimonies that really grab in young adults that allows them to see that, hey, I think I can do this because, you know, this is my pastor and he's been through this, so that I know I can make it through. So young adults definitely tend to gravitate towards those lessons and towards those speakers that keep it real and that are not those who are not afraid to share their own personal struggles and how they've overcome them. And also be sure to listen. Contrary to popular belief, young adults are adults. They are people, grown-ups who have their own marriages, who have their own children, some with degrees and tons of life experiences. So be sure to encourage them to get involved in the virtual workshop. There comes a point in time, I know that in our young adult virtual workshop, that I just unmute everyone and allow them to share how this topic or how this Bible study has, how it relates to them or something that they're going through. So it could be, you know, different issues that they've come across. It could be issues that maybe their friends have come across that they share at that time. So be sure to listen to those things and not just kind of think, hey, they're young, they don't really have much life experience. I'm the only one in the situation who knows the most, but listen and respond accordingly. And that is it to answer those questions. And like I said earlier, I'll have these put on a little flyer, the questions, as well as the little tips that I've given, and I'll have that given out and sent to Chief so that he can send it out to his master list.
Excellent, Joy. We really appreciate that. Was some really very good information, and it shows your experience with that population. Listen, we are recording these sessions, and we'll be able to edit those and add those to part of our training. Let me take a moment to thank thank Joy again for her input. You know, what we're doing today is that we're preparing training and preparing for a potential virtual national convention. And so once this Bnac is over, we're going to partner with individuals of you who are part of the national presentations and help prepare you so the advice you're getting today can be very applicable. And if we do have a virtual national convention, you guys are going to shine like brand new money. Joy, anybody have any questions for Joy? You go ahead and raise your hand and let us know that you have some questions, and we'll go from there. Any questions for Joy? Any questions? All right, everybody says it was an awesome job. I'm getting a lot of good chats on here, Joy. Awesome job. Okay, okay. Well, Joy, if you can make sure that you leave some type of a way of contacting you if someone wants to follow up. But thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Joy. Talk to you soon. Hang around now. All right, all right. Let's go to Sister Evangelist Angel Green. Angel, can you hear me?
Yes, Bishop, I can hear you.
Okay. It's Angel Green. Let's take a look at Angel's bio. Evangelist Angel Green. All right. Angel, can you hear me? Let's see.
Yes, Bishop, I can hear you.
It's okay. It's Angel Green. Let's take a look at Angel's bio. In Crawford, Mississippi. Evangelist Angel Weatherspoon. She and her Green. All right. Angel, can you hear me? Let's see.
Yes, Bishop, I can hear you.
It's okay. It's Angel Green. Let's take a look at Angel's bio. In Crawford, Mississippi. Evangelist Angel Weatherspoon. She and her Green. All right. Angel, can you hear me? Let's see.
Yes, Bishop, I can hear you.
Okay. It's Angel Green. Let's take a look at Angel's bio. In Crawford, Mississippi. Evangelist Angel Weatherspoon. She and her Green. All right. Angel, can you hear me? Let's see.
Yes, Bishop, I can hear you.
Okay. It's Angel Green. Let's take a look at Angel's bio. In Crawford, Mississippi. Evangelist Angel Weatherspoon. She and her Green. All right. Angel, can you hear me? Let's see.
Yes, Bishop, I can hear you.
We're ready. Go ahead now.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to share my screen with you. This is going to be the PowerPoint okay. The top 3 challenges that I face as an educator is the fear of the unknown. You know, I question my own competency.
Okay, I don't see your screen yet.
You don't see my screen?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's see. Is it showing now?
Not yet.
Oh, I click share. I do screen share, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we see it now.
Okay, all right. Okay, Bishop asked me to address this topic, and one of them was the top 3 challenges I face as an educator. And you know, with the closure of the schools for the remainder of the year, this remote learning has been one heck of a thing to deal with right now. So I began to question my own competency if I was capable of doing this online thing, but then I realized that, hey, you have to get with it. This is the day and age we're living in, this digital age. It's no different from what you do every day. Only difference is now you're on camera. So I had to wrap my mind around that to get started. And then the other question was, how do I get my participants to buy into the model of this type of learning? You know, students are used to that traditional classroom, but in this form, what do you do to get them interested in logging into a computer every day, to listen to you give them directions on how to complete an assignment? So those are a couple of the challenges. And then also the participants' ability level. You know, I teach elementary grade 1. So how many of them are technology, have a lot of technology, or how many of them are advanced enough to handle the online instruction? So those are the challenges that I face as an educator. The next screen is, let's see, how do I get to the next screen?
Double
The
click.
next one.
There you go. You got it.
Okay, the next one was, how do I, the planning, I believe it's the planning. Yeah, the planning. Planning is very important as an educator anyway, but especially when you're talking about going live. There are things out of our control, the external factors like background noises, what people are doing in the privacy of their own homes. With children, it can really get crazy because the children are on the laptops, but the parents are in the background talking, television shows are going on. So you have to really set some guidelines forth so that children and parents are aware that when you're going live with their students, that they should be in a quiet setting, as less noise as possible, and safety measures, making sure that they're not allowed to share a screen, because students, some of our students are very uh, tech savvy, and they will, know more than you, some of them. And so you have to set forth some safety measures when going before children, making sure that your own background is suitable for that of which children will be viewing. And then again, time restraints, uh, consider their attention span. 6, 7 year olds, they're not going to sit in front of a computer for 20 minutes listening to you. They don't want to do it when you're standing in front of them in the classroom. So just keeping your activities to a minimum so that you can keep their engagement as well. The next one was their attention and making them being able to come back. And I put engagement, interactive, and just allow them to have fun. Engagement is kind of like the game that we play during our transition wait, the Kahooted. I play games with them all the time. And then interactive, that's something they can do. Having fun, showing them that you can have fun, and it's not just about doing a worksheet for me or completing this worksheet, but they're able to challenge me when we do live videos. They got this TikTok stuff going on, and the young people know about that. So we make challenges with each other. So I make it fun, and then I'll give them some kind of prelude into the next time we meet, the things that we're going to go through, and they get the chance to say what they would like to do. And most of them say they want to play a game. So having fun is very important for that age group. The next one, for me, parent involvement. And if you're dealing with children within the elementary school age, you definitely need that parental support, be it in church or in the educational setting, period. Parents are very important because you are imparting and inputting into their children. So you need their support. And it's really a partnership. The two of you together are giving these students what they need. And so I get parents to help out in letting them know that we're doing this together. I can't fully educate your children without you. The other one is to share their successes rather than their failures. As an educator, generally, we love to put out what children are weak in, what they're not strong in. But when you begin to highlight that child's strengths, the faces of the parents lights up. So focusing on the student's successes is very important, and being consistent. When parents reach out, I try to do my best to give them proper feedback in a consistent and timely manner, and just being supportive. There are a lot of resources that I have, a lot of resources I'm available. I can make myself available to for them, and I can be that avenue to get them the help and support that they need. And when parents know that, they will go the extra mile for you when they realize that you are there to help them and not put yourself upon a pedestal that you're better than them, but we are working together. And so those are just some typical things that I do as an educator. And the vehicle that I use mostly is Google Classroom. And I found something just playing around with it last evening, is anyone can have access to Google Classroom. So later on, Bishop, we could talk later about how to set up classrooms, and the teachers on the national level can put information and uh, videos out there for their groups via this Google Classroom. So I look forward to working with you and helping you put this digital age movement together. And at the bottom, here's my last screen is my contact information. That's my Gmail address. And then I am at Temple 203 with Chief Bishop. So he has access to me all the time. Thank you.
Excellent job, Angel. We're going to unmute some folks here. I'm hoping to encourage people to begin to experiment with virtual classrooms for their Sunday school. We're going to hear more about that in a second in Bible study. But when it comes to children, don't leave them out. Make sure that while we're in this setting right now, that we're doing all we can to use the media to reach young people, Now, let's see. Are there any questions or comments for Sister Evangelist Angel Green? Questions or comments?
Okay.
You okay?
Any questions or comments? Okay. Any questions or comments before we take the next break and the next shot at cahoots to see if you're going to walk away with the Amazon cards? Okay. All right then. So go ahead and get your phones ready. Oh, that's what I got here. Stacy Copeland says Google Classroom is an excellent tool. Thanks for bringing that out, Angel. Excellent presentation, great information. So listen, don't be afraid to just try some things. You heard Sister Green said she just found some new things about Google Classroom a couple of hours ago. And so don't be afraid to get out there and reach out to your young people. All right? Okay. So thanks so much, Angel. God bless you. Thank you so much. All right. So what we're going to do now before we take our next break, after the break, we'll have Wiley. They'll be talking more about how to have your best ever Sunday school Bible study, ministering to adults. Before you go on your break, though, let's go ahead and take a moment to get some more folks to play. Sunday school Bible study, ministering to adults. Before you go on your break, though, let's go ahead and the next take a moment to come up here. Get some more folks to play. Let me see. Sunday school Bible study, ministering to adults. All right, so let's do the next question. Remember now, the top three at the end of the workshop, we're going to send out some Amazon gift cards, and feel free to send them back to me if you feel generous towards the bishopric. Here we go. Sabrina, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Next question is coming up. Which chief bishop was a barber?
Oh, I don't know this. I don't know.
Well, figure it out.
Yes.
There you go. That's how we all got through school. Which chief was a barber? Okay, the answer was Bishop Crooms. How'd y'all do? Okay, now I see the top four. That DNP nurse, she's holding on there. Veronica, you need to come on. Two more questions on this side. Which district is Temple in what district is Temple 44? In what district is Temple 44? You see the picture of it there. In what district is Temple 44? You should have said 11. It's in Los Angeles, City of Angels. Okay. Okay, the nurse is on fire. DNP nurse, you're on fire. Watch out now. One more question and then we'll go into a break. Church of God in Christ is older than Church of Living God. Church of God in Christ. True or false? Who's older? Church of God in Christ or Church of Living God? Church of God in Christ is older. Is that true or false? Church of God in Christ is older. Is that true or false? Okay, we're older, quite a bit older than Church of God in Christ. All right, let's see how y'all did on that one. That DNP nurse, I don't know, she must be cheating. I don't know what's going on. Listen, it is here about 12:16 in St. Louis. We'll come back. We have 2 more sessions. We'll come back at 12:20. 12:20. We're back here in 12:20. I'll see you then.
Bishop, can you mute me?
I'm doing it now.
Okay.
It's done. So I'm going to unmute Sister Cynthia Hines and Superintendent Hines. And I got to find Jeanette. Jeanette, I need you to raise your hand so I can find you. There you are. All right, you two are unmuted.
You find me?
Yeah, I got you now. You'll be unmuted. So let's see.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
And Brother Hines, you'll go first in about 4 minutes. And then after that, Jeanette will come right behind them. All right?
We actually have a combined presentation, Chief.
Okay. Well, I can do that then. I can do that. I don't think I can spotlight both of y'all, but I can definitely unmute both of y'all. Okay?
Okay. The way we'll do it is the speaker order, just so that you know, is Pastor Hines, Evangelist Hines, Wiley, and Evangelist Wiley, and then Pastor Hines is going to.
So I'll tell you what you can do. When it's time to go to the next person, let me know and I'll highlight that person. So you can say, okay, now and give me a lead, give me one of them leads. And now we go to, give me a lead.
Right. And then I'll be sharing my screen though for everybody. So when Evangelist Wiley is speaking, she'll be speaking from our slides. We have one slide deck.
Got you.
Okay.
Very good. Very
However
good.
you want to work that.
Thanks.
All right. Hey, sis.
Hey, you ready?
All right. We're glad to see you.
Glad to see you all this morning too. Well, this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Evangelist, let us know when you want the next slide, okay?
I will. I'll just say
I'll
next
advance it for
slide.
here.
Okay. All right, we'll do.
Okay, Cherie, are you still around? And Jackie, do you ever get back on? Jackie, Yvonne, do you ever get back on? Jackie, if you're here, raise your hand so I can find you. I see Dale there. Dale, have you found Jackie?
No, I was trying to see if Jackie was coming through on Facebook, Pastor. But,
okay, we're actually on YouTube.
Or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, because she never came back. I was asking her what platform she was on. But you know,
all right.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Oh, she said she was on Zoom. She was on Zoom. She had gotten
just trying to find her. All right, all right. I'm going to talk to Bishop Kelly for a moment here. Good afternoon, Bishop Kelly.
Good afternoon, Chief and everyone.
And now, tell us, this was one of your first time on Zoom for about 48 hours ago. How was that first time experience for you?
Well, I want to thank God for this experience, Chief. And the practice yesterday, I think, was key. This was the Zoom thing is all very new for me, but you know, I taught high school for 39 years. And the first 5 years, I coached basketball. And the key thing that I learned is you play the way you practice. And so the practice with Zoom yesterday and you will help me with this experience today, and will also help us in District 11 with our planned virtual assembly.
Very good. I'm glad the whole idea was to get people to try something new and to feel comfortable doing that, because a lot of us are moving towards more of a virtual interaction. So glad that you were able to make that work, Bishop. Thank you. Now, one of our bishops is a little more experienced, as I'm sure. Bishop Taylor, you're unmuted right now. How would you describe your experience with the Church of the Living God in Zoom land?
Well, I'm familiar with Zoom land, so we're doing good. We're doing good. Just have to get those who are a little apprehensive about it, but just understand that you can be heard and you can be seen, especially if your audio and video is up. Otherwise, I mean, everything's going good. You got a few glitches, but that's expected when folks are not used to it.
And you get their freak wet, I guess it's time to be innovative. And as we said, Bishop, we're hoping that this Bnac experience gets folks exposed to it. They feel more comfortable enough to go try it. We plan on coaching with our national presenters, folks from the Women's Work, folks from, W.E. Crooms, what have you. So if we need a virtual convention, by that time, they'll have a polished presentation. So I really appreciate all the executive board members, Bishop Taylor, and all the bishops for joining us today. And in any comments or any greetings you want to give, Taylor, while you got the mic?
I'll just tell everybody hello. Good to see everybody too. This is great avenue to see everybody across the country. It just good to see, good to fellowship, and we're just enjoying it in the constraints of our home, but we're enjoying it. God bless.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God bless you all. Well, it's about 2 more minutes to be underway.
Hey, Bishop, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Jackie is on. I'm asking her, is she signed in under her name so you can find her? But she's there. She said she had raised her hand for you.
All right, God bless you all. Let's get underway here. Let's go ahead and unpause recording. We are recording the presentations for the day. And let's get our presenters ready here. Okay. Brother Sister Hines, let's get you guys ready. Let's get Evangelist Wiley. Let's get her up and ready as well. All right, there you are, Evangelist Wiley. And I need to get the Hines, if you all would give me your video back. Okay. Let's share a little bit here while we're waiting for the Hines to come back on. Evangelist Jeanette Wiley was born and raised and educated in the greater metropolitan area of East St. Louis, Illinois. She received her BA in criminal justice from Lindenwood University of St. Charles, Missouri on September 20th, 2011. As a child growing up, she says, I was taught fundamental Christian morals and values by my mother and grandmother, and she accepted her calling in the ministry years later, according to Ephesians 4:11 and 12, and was ordained on over 18 years ago. Her purpose is to worship and live for God, and her testimony is that of a teacher, preacher, and a reacher with a desire to introduce Christ to all those who will hear. That's Evangelist Jeanette Wiley. The other guest presenters today are Pastor Tony Hines and Dr. Cynthia Hines, Church of Living God in Detroit, Michigan. That's Temple 364. The Hines have led a growing ministry in the heart of Detroit, Michigan since 2011. They started streaming live church messages in 2016. Prior to starting a new temple, the Hines supported Pastor Leroy Williams in Detroit for 3 years, introducing innovative approaches in a traditional setting. The couple are natives of Muskegon, Michigan, where they received their ministerial training under the leadership of the 4th District Bishop John M. Williams, Jr. The duo served as ministry leaders separately and together for Bishop Williams for many years. Pastor Hines serves as the Detroit area supervisor for District 4, the superintendent of the 5th District, a YPPU national instructor, and a member of the Resolution Committee. Dr. Hines is an entrepreneur and published author. She serves as District 4's Women's Work Vice President. Again, we welcome Pastor Tony and Dr. Cynthia Hines and Evangelist Wiley. So let me see now. I think Sister Hines told me that she'll be sharing her screen.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if that's going to be so. Okay, I need them to start their video. If not, I need them to start their video. Well, I'm trying to reach Pastor Hines here. They walked away. If that's for me, there we go. Pastor Hines, can you hear me? All right, Pastor Hines, can you hear me now? Oh, let me unmute you again. Okay, Pastor Hines, you need to unmute yourself.
Chief Wardell,
All right, we're good to go. All right,
Chief
Pastor
Wardell,
Hines and Cynthia Hines, we're ready to go.
you got the wrong Hines family.
Oh my word!
You unmuting Rodney Hines family.
There's too many of y'all on the planet.
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me a minute here. Let me get it right. Let's see here. There you all are. Okay, finally.
Okay.
There we go. You know, I searched the Hines, about 25 Hines names jumped up. Go figure.
All right, we're sharing our screen. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Pastor, take it away.
Hello, everybody. We're so glad to have you here. And we want to mention a few things about how to move forward with an effective virtual ministry. We've been doing this for about 3 years. So we have some experience, but we're still learning every day. So we always want to make the production and the finished product better every time if we can. So let's go to the next slide. It says,
Okay, hold on, Bishop. Let me make one more adjustment to mute a couple of people here. Okay.
okay.
All right, Brother Hines, we're ready.
All right. So first and foremost, we want to welcome you to Designing an Effective Virtual Ministry. Workshop facilitators, as you know, is myself, Dr. Hines, and Evangelist Jeanette Wiley. So what is virtual ministry? Virtual ministry is the process of using digital tools and leveraging technology to deliver ministry content. A comprehensive virtual ministry allows churches to stay connected during social distancing and beyond. And here are some of the platforms: Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Zoom, Switcher, and what we're using right now, Be Live. Now we're going to have Evangelist Hines. She'll take the next few slides, and then Evangelist Wiley.
So I think we're probably missing a slide. We've gone through this a few times, but in the preparation of a virtual ministry, there's 4 phases that Chief asked us to address. 1 is preparation. 2 is how do you recruit people? 3, how do we engage people? And then 4, how do we retain people? So some of our previous presenters have done a great job. There's overlap in some of our content. And so some things we're just going to skim over because some other folks have already did a really good job of talking about those. So I'm going to talk to you about preparation. So in this presentation, we're coming from 2 different perspectives. Pastor and I, we primarily use streaming to Facebook Live, but Evangelist Wiley, who's going to come later, she used a collaboration tool. She uses Zoom for virtual classrooms. So any of these tools are fair game for a virtual ministry. It's just taking your ministry to a digital platforms. All right, so your preparation, we already talked about that. A lot of folks talked about pre-planning. So if you're just turning the camera on, you're missing an opportunity to optimize your virtual ministry. Preparation is the longest phase. It's the most important phase. When Pastor and I, once we do our live on a Sunday, we immediately start working towards the next week. Of course, you've got to research, study, pray, and you've got to meditate and ask God's direction on what is it that God is saying to the people right now. Some of the things, some of the topics that you might present face-to-face may not go as well virtually. So you have to think about that. You have to think about what will go well in this environment. And we've done a lot of that. We've already talked about some of the platforms. There are a plethora of tools that you can use. So we've got tech people who are coming up later who can definitely help with you with that. We already showed you what some of those are. Now, your schedule. What is your schedule? So if you think about when you're at church, you in your bulletin, you say, here's the weekly schedule. We're doing Bible study on Mondays. We're doing this on Tuesdays. You need a virtual schedule, So we had to redo our church schedule. We know what we do weekly when we're there, but virtually we had to come up with a virtual schedule. What is our new cadence for the church? We had to look at time slots. How long are they going to be? And then when you go live, or if you do a class, what are you going to do in there? What's the order? What would be the order of service? What's your virtual order of service? Someone else, Sister Sabrina did a great job going over all the tech aspects. So we won't even talk about that, only to say, check your tech. You can have a great presentation, but your tech can undo you. So don't underestimate that. Definitely check your tech. And then the last thing that we wanted to say about preparation, and someone else, she talked about, Sister Angel talked about the attention span of first graders. We've learned that for our adult audiences, between 45 minutes to an hour is our sweet spot. The longest we go is when we teach together because it's two presenters and I talk a lot and we both talk a lot. So when it's two people, it's harder to stay in a tight time frame, but we never go over an hour. So I go back and look at, the time of our videos. I look at the time of when I'm by myself. I look at the time. So I've noticed that when we go to all the way up to an hour, it's because we were together and we get to talking. So we're going to work on trying to tighten that up. And then how do you share information in advance? Or sometimes you don't have to share information in advance. But if you're going to share information in advance, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And so I've got some of those listed out here. And that will help people connect with your content. A lot of times we just put it in the post. We say, if we're doing Bible study, we're still in Luke chapter 11, and we just put it in the post. So at this time, I'm going to hand off to my sister from Fairview Heights, Illinois, Evangelist Jeanette Wiley. Take it away, sister. You got to unmute her, Chief. You got, Chief, you have to unmute Jeanette Wiley. Okay.
All right, Jeanette, you're unmuted there. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now. So start over if you said something.
Amen. Okay, I'm going to, as they said, my name is Evangelist Jeanette Wiley. I'm from Temple 203. Chief is my pastor. I'm going to finish the last two components of virtual Sunday school, and I'll be talking to you this afternoon on engagement and retention. Sister Hines, if you can give me the slide for engagement.
Can you do recruitment too, please?
Okay.
Or you want me to get it?
Well, I'll go ahead and do recruitment as well, since I have it in front of me.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, recruitment. Recruitment is the process of driving online traffic to your broadcast. Do not assume that your viewers will show up. There are many ways to drive traffic to your site and increase the number of views. Advertise, advertise, advertise. And I'm going to talk about a few things on this particular list in ways that you can drive your recruitment. First, use multiple methods and multiple channels. You've heard Sister Hines talk about those different platforms that we can use to better present ourselves. Next, create flyers with digital locations included, so people will know where you're coming from, which platform you're going to be presenting from. Create an event and invite. Remember, it's going to take you to be able to put some push behind what you're trying to accomplish with your platform. Share it to groups and pages. Tag church members. Post to Instagram, Twitter. Use the church websites. Do texts and text groups. Invite people on a personal level and through your personal contacts. Announcements during your broadcast. So those are just some things that you can use, or tools you can use to when you're trying to recruit someone. Next, I'm gonna, if you can give me the next slide, engagement. What is engagement? Well, engagement is very important in order to make your event or your platform a successful one. Engagement is almost as important, or let me say just as important as talking to someone face to face. Adults learn and retain information better in interactive environments. Engaging participants fosters relationships and provides a richer ministry experience. We got two umbrellas under engagement. We're going to talk about what needs to take place when you're in real time and what needs to take place after your program is over. First, in real time, you need to designate a person to engage viewers. It's important that we let viewers know that they're important, and they know that as you engage them. But as a presenter, you may not be able to do that at that particular time. So you need to designate someone that can see the comments and be able to respond and let them know that that we see you, you're important, and we're glad that you're a part of this program. Our next topics must be relevant. We've been talking throughout this entire broadcast. If you can't keep the attention span, you're gonna lose people. So you want your topics to be relevant. Invite the Holy Spirit. For me, it's important for me to enter into my prayer time to see what the Holy Spirit is saying for this particular event that I'm trying to pull off. For me, it's Adult Sunday School. I want to know, because He is all knowing, and He can impart some things into your spirit that on the natural level you may not have gotten. But He knows all things, so it's important to have prayer meditation time before you actually put on your event. Ask viewers to invite others and share, comment and respond to questions, greet people as they join, thank everyone at the end. And after your event is over with, then you need to acknowledge every post, ask people to share, say thanks for joining, invite to the next broadcast, remind viewers ways to give, seek input for future topics. Now, remember, these are nuggets in order to help you to be able to engage other people to be a part of what you're trying to present. Can I get the next slide, please? Retention, which is very important. Think of retention as getting first-time visitors to church to return virtually. To retain viewership, it's important to keep contents fresh and quality up. I'm going to name a few things here. We're going to say continually refine the quality and content. Topics must be relatable. We talked about that on the last slide. Invite viewers back during the broadcast. Track the number of views. Support others' broadcasts. Make friends. Send thanks as soon as possible. Recruit new members to replace and anything that may drift away over time. Ask others and begin to open to feedback. Incorporate feedback as important as needed. So those are the things that I had to bring into this component. So I'm turning it back over to you, Pastor.
Amen. So we want to look at some of the resources that are available. Social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Now, we have 4 there. It doesn't mean that you have to be on one and that's the only one. You can be on multiple social media platforms at one time, which we are looking into doing right now. Other helpful applications, Resteem, OBS Studio, which we are actually using now, Switcher Studio, Be Live Studio, which we are also using now, Zoom, and free conference call. We do use free conference call for our prayer line on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And of course, the giving platforms: Cash App, PayPal, Givelify, Tidely, and website. So I think there's one thing that we want to stress through it all. If you're new at this or you've been doing it for a while, you will have ups and downs, But the thing is to try to refine it as you go. I remember when we first started, we started with cell phones. Then we had a Mevo, and the Mevo didn't work out because we couldn't get a signal, and we'd have good service and it couldn't get out, and we'd be so upset. But you have to keep working at it. You will get to a point where things go relatively smooth. So at this time, we'll turn it back over to Chief, and he can ask for questions. Chief?
Okay, got stuck on the mic here. Okay. Sister Wiley and Brother Hines, thank you so much. Let's see if there are any questions. Now, remember now that today is just kind of what's your appetite. We're going to follow up with individuals, and we plan to have some master workshops in May through the Right Now Media. So we're working on finishing a workshop now that's going to address membership maintenance. As a pastor, how can we continue ministering to the flock? All right, I think we have Sister Laura. Do you have a question? I see your hand up. Yes, I sure can.
Actually, my hand up was for another presenter, but want to commend these people for a great presentation. And I would be interested in knowing how we can educate our older members of our congregations, how to familiarize them with virtual interactive meetings and Bible classes and the like.
Okay, Sister Wiley, can you hear us?
I can.
Did you guys hear the question?
Yes, I did.
So how do you accommodate your older students, guys, people who maybe, I mean, sometimes you have to be necessarily old not to be, if you're just not familiar with the platforms. How do you reach out to those folks who are maybe not as savvy?
You want me?
We use.
Well, my thought on that is because we've had some questions in concerning how to incorporate our older generation who are not tech savvy. I think it's going to have to take something on a more of a personal level. But now, since we're being, COVID-19 has been a hindrance, we're going to have to teach them the simplest way of this technology that will be able to get it. But right now we're at an impasse because of COVID-19, but certainly it is a consideration, and we're thinking about some ways how we can get them involved in this technology.
Okay. Brother Tony?
We use conference call, the same conference call that we use for our prayer line. That way everyone already has a number, so they can actually call in. My mom uses it. She'll call in and listen to Sunday school. She'll call in for prayer call. And we have members now using it right now for this presentation.
And I believe even Zoom, you can call in to Zoom and just be an audio listener.
Right.
So absolutely. So I think using the technology that they're familiar with is what really works.
Yes.
What really works. All right, and any other questions? Now, sister, you keep bringing your hand up, Sister Laura John.
Never took it down. I didn't put it back up. I just never took it down. Do I have to take it down?
That
was from a long time ago.
I don't want to hear all that. Just take your hand down.
Okay, I'm leaving. It's time to go.
We got one more presentation left.
Oh.
All right, and it was okay, guys.
Chief,
So,
there was one question in the chat box. We were looking at the chat box.
Go ahead.
Someone asked about Tithely. Yes, I believe there is a charge for Tithely. So you'll have to, even though there's various platforms, you have to figure out which platform is for you. Some are free, some have a charge. Right. So you kind of go through it. Cash App is free. Givelify has a charge. Tithely has a charge. So you have to go through and experiment and see which one is better for you. Some of them, it's worth paying for. It depends. Everybody don't use Cash App. And if you have a church website, you can give directly to your church website.
Right,
as well.
exactly.
So you have to research. You have to research and figure out what's best for you. And having more than one way is good because everybody doesn't use just one. So we use a couple of different giving platforms. We try to take away all the reasons why people don't give.
Absolutely.
Another thing, Chief, is also is that a lot of people don't want to face the fact, but the money for the churches is very important. I mean, you can go on vacation, but you still got to pay the mortgage on your house. So it's the same way with us not being in the building. We still have to take care of our utilities, mortgage, or whatever else we have on the church. So the giving is very important. You want to have something that's easy for people to give and is usable all over the United States, because you'll find once you get on the World Wide Web, that's what it is. You'll have people listening to you from all over the United States and some people wanting to give. So you want to have the easiest way, but you still want to make sure that there is a vehicle to convey that there is a way to give. We stream on the bottom of our picture of our video ways to give.
Very good. Elder Hines, I'm sorry, Elder Mims, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There you go, Joe. All right. So they're talking about your job. They're talking about your job right now. I know you listen to Cash App and Giveify. For a church that just wants to get started with the digital giving, how would you tell them to kind of get started? Right now, we don't have any other means other than envelopes pushed under the door.
Yeah, I think, and first of all, excellent presentations. I mean, this is really incredible, and I'm really excited about this. Dr. and Pastor Hines, a phenomenal job. I've actually been taking notes on my side to be able to do some things at our local ministry digitally. So that was very appreciated. In regards to giving, I think, some of the basic fundamental, probably the most simplest platform is Cash App. They have Cash App for individuals, Cash App for businesses. The difference is if you tag the account as a business, there's a 2.7% charge that's deducted out of the funds, and that's to pay for that service. Cash App, for all of you all that are familiar with it, it's an immediate, it was originally designed to be able to do sort of person-to-person transfers. The only thing you need with that is a debit card and a phone number. So that is the most basic way if somebody's looking to sort of test the water.
I will say, George, we got excited and we did Cash App, but we forgot to make it a business. It was still personal.
Yes.
The first Sunday was really nice. It was great. The next Sunday, they shut us down. Too much money was coming through a personal account.
Right.
And, so we had to make sure that people know that if you're going to do it, make sure you use the business because they will shut you down.
Yeah, and I would say, probably even greater than being shut down. I think, ultimately we don't want to transfer our trust away from God to sort of, ingenuity, if you will. And so we are a business for all intents and purposes. Mm-hmm. I would encourage you to do that. The downside is that, for your finance person and making sure that accounts are credited at the end of the year, that's something you're going to have to manually do. So there's no hard file transfer. If you have, say, 20 different people that are giving via Cash App, at the end of the year, you're going to have to manually put that in some kind of giving statement. That's the downside of those simple tools. Giveify allows for a little bit more detail. You can transfer those files over. And I'm really thinking about your finance people at the end of the year. It is a task. And as your ministry grows, which is the reason we're on the phone, we expect the ministry to grow. We are preaching the gospel, and Jesus has promised if we lift them, people will come. And so prepare yourself and prepare your financial people to not just take the simplest route, but try to think long term. How do we give statements, to people that are not part of our ministry? I know here in California, we have giving that has come from across the country, people that are not affiliated with our church and will never come in our doors, but they know individuals within the church and they want to give. So again, to maintain that credibility, and you got professional people that are attached to people on this call right now. They want to see and have that confidence that if I give it, it goes, I get a statement. People get excited about that one. And so Givelify is one that does that. If you're looking to sort of bump up into a full financial system, ACS Realm, for those that have gone to the conventions and you experienced the text giving or some of the other things, some of you all are getting communications from Cherie or from Chief, and it's got the church logo on it. That's coming from our Realm system. It's a full-fledged system. The good thing about that one is it ties all of the giving to the individual records as it comes through the system and allows your financial people to do the respective work at the end of the year. And so there's a number of things to go through. But again, if you want to really get started, test the waters, Cash App is a quick, easy way. A lot of people have Cash App, they're familiar with that one. If there are others, you want to get more detailed information, please hit me up after this call. We can talk live, we can do a screen share, and I can take you through the tools that we use for the national level. Thank you, Chief.
Very good. All right. So any other questions for Evangelist Wiley, Evangelist Hines, Dr. Hines there, or Elder Hines? Okay then. All right. So what we're going to do here is we have one more presentation. So I need the tech team to get ready. And we'll be ready to wrap things up. I want to thank you for your patience. Okay. iPad 5. Hold on a second, y'all. iPad 5. Let me show you what's going on here. Okay, Bishop Scruggs, which I think I found your iPad 5. Can you say something to us, please?
Yeah, you cut me off.
No, listen, you got to go in there and put your name.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
No, we don't got time for that right now. No, you should don't try to greet everybody now. When you get a chance, you go in Zoom and you put your real name. Your name right now is iPad 5.
Hey, the federal government looking for me.
If you
so would you please? Now you know who I am.
Listen,
so you know who I am.
I was concerned. Your neighbor called me. They said they ain't seen you out in the yard. They hadn't seen you out in the yard in a long time.
I was trying to catch them 3 rabbits I told you was running around.
Oh. I know who you are. You're iPad 5.
That is that.
So go ahead, Bishop. Give us a little greeting. I'm sorry, but I finally figured out who you are. So go ahead and greet the folks.
Well, I thank God for you, Chief, and we thank God for all the presenters. We really have enjoyed you. A lot of information, and we're so glad to see everyone around the country on these extreme days that we're living in. So thank God for all of you.
All right, God bless you. All right, we have one more round of cahoots, and then we have a 2-minute break. We have one more and very important presentation. This comes from our tech team, and they're going to be talking about the technical issues. How come your live stream doesn't come on like today? For some reason, all of a sudden, my computer didn't want to even get the internet working. It was working all this week, got to church, and so they were here to give me some pointers. So they're coming on to answer all of your technical questions. All right, so let me share my screen with somebody one last time, children. All right. So get your phones out. Remember to get the highest scores at the end of this gift cards and mail them to you. And of course, I may mail you with a self-addressed envelope. That way you can send it back to me and you can write it off on your taxes. All right, so here we go. Next question. True or false? Publicly, we pray the prayer found in Luke 11, 1-4. Publicly, we pray the prayer found in Luke 11, 1-4. True or false? Publicly, we pray the prayer found in Luke 11, verses 1-4. True or false? Okay, we pray the prayer found in Matthew 6 and 9, not the one in Luke 11. Look it up, 1-4. All right, let's move on. Next question. How we do? How do we do? Oh, look out now. The nurse got pushed down a little bit. Y'all should be nice to first responders and to the medical staff there. Next question. In which states do we currently have temples? You can choose more than one. In which states do we currently have temples? Colorado, Alabama, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Mark the ones where we currently have temples. Where do we currently have temples? Okay, we got churches in Alabama, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Midland, Pennsylvania. All right, one more before the break. How we do? Y'all doing okay? All right, one last before the break. Where was President Obama born? Chicago, Senegal, Africa, Honolulu, Hawaii, Houston, Texas. All right, Honolulu it is. All right, here in St. Louis, it is 101. Come back at 105. We have one last presentation that will close out today, give you some announcements for tomorrow, and we'll be on our way. So let's take a 4-minute break, do what you got to do, and be back here for the final and one of the most important presentations coming up. All right, guys.
Are you sharing that or
Not sure what.
you take a picture of it or something? You have to take a picture?
I can put it up on my phone back at the app. But I don't need to see them anyway.
Okay, we're coming back on here. We want to welcome Elder Courtney Teet, Elder Lakeith Grace. We want to welcome, let's see if Courtney's on here. George Mims, you are also part of the tech team. Let's see if we have Courtney. We do have Courtney May. Courtney, you're live. Okay, all y'all have live mics here. So let me, again, reach out to Elder Lakeith Grace, Pensacola, Florida. All right. If you got to be shelter someplace near the ocean. That's nice. Anyway, so you know that let me share a screen about these people so you know who they are. They didn't send me a bio, but I already had their bio, and here it is. So, but you got Elder Courtney Teet, we call him the Taker. You got Sister Courtney May, the camera lady. Elder Lakeith Grace, the Webby master. Some folks not pictured here. Sister Andy Bivens, the magic maker. Overseer Keith Smith, the foul protector. George Mims, we call him the greenback man. All right, I'm through sharing. All your mics are live here. Tell us a little bit about what do you think are three of the most frequent challenges people have when they're trying to go live. Now, in terms of the technology, we've heard about the presentation, the lighting, you know, whether or not, you know, that you have a wardrobe malfunction. I was in a meeting with some people today and they forgot that the phone was on the camera and she was in the bathroom. So we were hollering, Nancy, Nancy. But by then it was just too late, you know. So now we closer friends than we thought we ever would be. Okay, so all right. So what are some of the three when people call you and they say I'm having problems with live stream situations? What are some of the problems you guys hear about? And you all can start sending your chat questions into. We'll get them on there.
Chief, this is Pastor Grace. The first thing you want to make sure you have is a stable internet connection. Ethernet, quite frankly, is the best. I know a lot of us want to do Wi-Fi or use our data on our phones, but if possible, if you can have your internet through an Ethernet, is the most stable that you can have when you want to do live streaming.
And
Chief.
Ethernet looks like a fat phone cord. We got some beginners on here, man. An Ethernet looks like a fat
some beginners over here.
phone cord. Ethernet. All right. So this goes into your router at home?
Yes, sir. It plugs into your router, and then you can plug it up into your laptop or your.
Why is this better than using my Wi-Fi?
First of all, the speed is faster. And it goes wire to wire, so you don't have to worry about going over the radio waves and trying to get the connection.
Listen, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Would you introduce that woman next to you, please? People won't know who she is.
Oh, well, this is my beautiful, lovely wife, Laronica Grace. You guys can call her Sister Grace.
All right, now we got that out the way. We can move on to, okay. Delighted to meet you, Sister Grace. Delighted to see you again. All right, so let's see what kind of questions we got here for tech team.
Can I make one statement, Chief? Yeah, for those who are outside of using your modem for the Ethernet, you also could have the extenders.
Correct. When
you use a Wi-Fi signal extender, it must be plugged directly into the wall. Do not plug it into any no power strips. Mm-hmm. The boosters is the design to go through the wiring of your house or your church. That signal is going through the wiring. It won't go through the strip. So if you have the adjuster, because it has an Ethernet connection on the booster, you plug into that, make sure it's plugged directly into the wall so it can go through the system correctly. Also, just like Pastor Grace said, internet connection is And believe it or not, we tried to present this at National last year, and people was, you know, they say, hey, we're going shopping right now. We're going shopping. So now the platform
They can't
is
go
now you got
shopping
to
now,
listen.
Reverend. They can't
Ain't
go
no
shopping
shopping.
now.
Everybody listening now. But the key is that just asking just regular questions like, first of all, do y'all have internet at the church? He's like, let me think about it. So if you ain't got internet, we far from what's going on. We have people to use webcams, which are good. You got good webcams out, but if you can go to a local pawn shop and keep looking for a high definition camera, that will help. It's just a lot of different avenues that you can do it. And I have to give a shout out to First Lady Barbara Hendricks. She not only got a camera, she learned the program, y'all cheerings. Listen.
Yeah, cheers.
She'll get on over. She called me a couple of times now. Y'all know we got 2-hour difference. It was late sometimes she was calling, but she got there and she figured it out. I just, got to get a few more pointers, but she was not scared of the technology. She took it by the horns, and y'all are
Well, I think she can hear you. Elder, Sister Hendricks, are you there?
I am here.
So tell us, what was your, how was your plunge into technology?
It was absolutely fabulous. Frustrating at times, but it was fabulous. But son teach, I also called Brother Grace. Once. Brother Grace, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can. You are doing an excellent job.
You know what? Sister Grace, Lady Grace, I woke you all up. I don't know what time it was. But I thank you both. I thank you both. We're doing well here, and the technology is absolutely wonderful. And you two guys are just, you're the best.
Thank you.
I thank you both, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yes, all right, to say hello to Bishop Hendricks. Is he around?
Yes, I just got him set up a few minutes ago.
Okay, all right.
Can you see
all right.
him? Can you see him? Where is he?
And I don't see him yet. That's like his audio is on. That's why we reached out to you. You always manage to get the biggest slice of the pie. I don't know how y'all do that. Whatever comes out, you always have the biggest slice of the pie, Sister Hendricks. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we can see and hear you fine.
Okay.
I think, and one of your vocations, you worked in technology years ago, didn't you?
Yes, back in the late 60s and 70s, I was a computer operator at A.E. Staley's in Decatur. And I also was a computer programmer for a Fortune 500 company, but that was back in the days of the old programming language, logo and all of that.
Well, things have changed a bit, but it sounds like you caught on with some stuff. So again, Sister Hendricks, thanks for sharing. That's very encouraging. Let people know that they if you apply it, you can do it. It's nothing to be afraid of, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit frightening, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because things have changed now, and all you have to do is push a button. Then I changed my career and went into finance, so I kind of got away from technology for a while. But this did restore my self-confidence.
So what do you say to pastors who are a little apprehensive about getting started? They feel like, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. Well, what would you tell them?
Just take a plunge. Just step right in there, take a plunge. Once you get into it, you find out that it's really pretty simplistic. It's not difficult. You just have to take the time, the patience, and know that you're going to get frustrated at times, but just take the plunge.
Yeah, right. That's good news. So your house didn't catch on fire, nothing like that, right?
No, it didn't catch on fire.
You're all right. You're all right. Love you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Love everyone.
God bless you. All right. So, team, when it comes to things like devices, and we're trying to get people to, whether it's your cell phone, whether it's a tablet, whether you go to the pawn shop like Tony Hines, them guys doing that. Elder Hines, they stay at the pawn shop. You hear me? Him and Scruggs, stay at the, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's,
You
if it's
always
something
get a good deal if you go with Chief, always.
I can't let my
yeah,
husband.
but well, I call it shopping on the dark side. So
Too much.
when it comes to equipment, I'm just getting started. You know, it's my first time going live stream. What do you tell me to do? I mean, maybe I don't have $500 to invest in a camera right now. Where can I start? You know, somewhat a quality experience.
Well, first thing you can pretty much everyone has a cell phone, so you can start live streaming with your cell phone and use your data plan and go on a live stream with Facebook platform. All you need is a Facebook account and your cell phone, and you should be able to get your live streaming up and running from there. But I wouldn't suggest that you stay there. When you do have a chance to invest into a camera, into a laptop, I would suggest you do that. But the first thing you would need is the bare minimum is a data plan and a mobile device and a streaming platform, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, something like that.
T, what advice would you give people in terms of the
Well, here at Temple 203, we just started using Pastor's small iPad, and then it just evolved from there. We just use we had a small iPad and a little tripod that sat on the audio table. That was what we used from Sunday to Sunday until he decided to do one dark side trip to the pawn shop and got a small camera. And, you know,
yes,
we tried to come to National with it, but we told them we can't come to National with this, Reverend. So they went to the pawn shop again.
Well, I think we went to the pawn shop down in Moss Point, Mississippi. Actually, the truth is, Brother Hines, the truth is, I didn't get that camera from the pawn shop. Pastor Lakeith Grace got that camera for me from the pawn shop. Tell the truth.
Come on, Chief.
Listen, we got an awesome camera from the pawn shop. Sometimes you can get some deals, and we got
a quick act like I'm the one going to the pawn shop. Lakeith Grace did that. He did that, and he's still pastoring. He has the audacity to have a church. He did that. So you can't start. You can't start. Okay. Any questions, anybody, to the tech team? Any questions to the tech team? Let me check my chats here.
I guess one observation, after we purchased the camera with Chief, we could not find the AJA U-taps. They're out of stock. So the U-tap is a decoder that decodes the camera signal for use on the internet. They are all backlogged.
Okay, so the U-tap is just one brand. What you want to Google is a capture card or capture video HD card. And those range from 80 plus. And I just ordered one for our church as well, and I should be getting it on the 28th. So it's because of COVID-19. Right. It is going to it's taking me about a week to get it, but it shouldn't take you no more than a week or 2 weeks to get it. Some of the U-taps though, which are more expensive, they are out of stock, but I checked those first. But you can get other capture cards. And just look for Google the word capture card, video capture card, and the YouTube videos that I watch. Pretty much everyone is happy with any one of them, so you don't have to spend a whole lot on them. But you are going to need one if you want to use the OBS to stream live and have your graphics and all those things. Etta T, you have something to add?
Yeah, Pastor Tony, you brought up a good point, excellent point about a U-tap. That's another key mission about if you're going to use a laptop. Most laptops comes with an out port, meaning it's video that carries out at a computer. Right. So don't run to Walmart and get a laptop You think you're gonna plug a camera up into it and it's gonna be ready to run.
Right.
That U-type would bring the video into the computer, then out.
Right.
So you do need a converter type that you can't get around it. There's no way you're gonna just like, okay, I'm just gonna plug a camera in and go. Yes, very good point, Pastor Tony. You have to have a converter to bring the video into the computer, and then it comes back out through whatever streaming.
Thanking Chief for helping us
what
get
about
that nice camera.
OBS?
Yes.
Still sitting in the room. We're gonna get the video capture card. I got a question about sound. Nobody has really talked about sound. We got a short term. We've got this little something we picked up at Walmart. It plugs in. So it's like a little mic. So we were trying to improve the sound. And then you get into music. So talk to us a little bit about sound and what's your recommendation. You know, you're trying to do a couple of things, voice sound, music sound. Because when first time we tried to do it, we used our cell phone, it sounded real tensely. We was like, okay, that's not working. So talk to us about sound.
Well, let me say this. First of all, now I'm gonna have to introduce the program to you. It's a free app that we use, which is called OBS.
Okay.
Can I pause you real quick? If you would just go to the national website and go under the technology page or under the COVID response page, we already have that link in there, so you can click on it and download OBS and have it for those who want to use it. And it's a free software. Okay, FT.
Right now, and yes, okay, so once you have the OBS program, and this is what Sister Hendrick has opened up the door and she's worked on, this program will carry your video and your sound. So once you bring in whatever camera you're using and whatever sound, then it streams out to Facebook or whatever you're going to use. What happens, again, we're going back to this again. We was very fortunate, Pastor Grace, to get a high definition camera that has a great mic already built into it. The mic that we have passed on every Sunday is coming from the mic of the camera. We don't have no external mics that's going on. And so it's all about the program and about that camera that you have with the, that you can use. And this program can bring the sound. That's why we have a cable called HDMI. HDMI carries video and sound at the same time. And that's why it's important for the HDMI cable with the converter that you're going to use to stream.
Can I offer just...
I'm showing the OBS information now.
More, Chief. Back to the question on sound. So when you get microphones, and I only know this because my son he's a mic geek now, and I'm now doing some podcasting. And so there are two types of mics that you'll see. One is called a dynamic mic, and the other is a condenser mic. Condenser mics are the ones we usually have in church that captures wider, broader sound in front and around the mic. So if you got a sort of a good control of your ambient sound or the sound around you, then a condenser mic is okay. Depending on what you're doing, how you're doing it. I'm looking right now at a dynamic mic, just because I don't have a recording studio and I'm trying to control my sound. The way that the mic pattern picks up, it's called a cardioid pattern, and it strictly tries to capture what's in front of the mic and slightly to the left or the right. And so each of these mics have different patterns, but just think about the environment that you're going to be recording in. I am a big sound. I want my sound to be tight, and primarily because the people that are coming into our congregations, they are used to professional sound, because when they put on their earphones or they listen to their podcast or videos, those things are done with $1 million sounds, and so their ears are already accustomed to that. And so as we try to minimize distractions, sound is one of those things where you can have a great video, but if I can't hear you or staticky, I'm going to lose interest real quick. just because of, you know, the environments that we live in. So just a heads up on the different mics, dynamic versus condenser. There are great videos out there on YouTube. Do some Google lookups. You'll learn it real quickly.
So let me just say that we do have OBS Studio. I wanted to use it for Easter. I know just enough to be dangerous and to mess something up. So I've been studying YouTube tutorials and practicing in the background until I felt like I'm skilled up enough so that it'll work the way we want it to work in the live environment. We're almost there. But it was a little bit over my head technically. So we just use BeLive because BeLive was easy and intuitive and I could get it like right away. And we used that for Easter in the last couple of Sundays, but.
You know what BeLive is? Okay, Dr. Hines, was your question answered about the mics?
Yes.
Someone asked about the brand of camera.
So for your camera, the condenser mic would be is what you would have on that. If you would prefer, if you don't like the way the condenser is, or if you prefer just a clean your voice instead of the picking up all of the noise in the sanctuary or at home where you at, you can get one of those personal lapel mics that pin on you, and it'll just pick up your voice, the dynamic mic that Elder Mims was talking about. So those are your two choices: external mic or condenser mics. But they are really good. You just have to pay. From my understanding, pretty much any external mic will be better than what you got with your camera. But you can get a pretty good external mic for around $30 and above to plug into your camera to use it.
It should be good.
What about the cameras, Steve?
Which one?
What camera do you recommend?
The camera that we're using here is a Sony brand, high definition, 1920 setup. But the key is too, also when you get your camera, you have to go into OBS to tell OBS what kind of camera you're using. So that's all about setup. And of course, it would how you, whatever mic you want to select. I know it sounds difficult talking about it over, but once you get it and start playing with it under the settings, you can understand more about what camera that you want to use. Like I said, we start out with an iPad. Maybe you can't move up to the high def 1920. You might just start in between, but of course, Chief like to pass my number on to people if they have problems with
555. Give it to everybody.
And we start getting West Coast and East Coast calls out of nowhere. So, you know,
overseas is next.
All right, Miss Courtney, are you? Before we close out, Miss Courtney, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
All right,
so,
yes.
What are some of the challenges that you think beginners are going to have when they start to look into live streaming?
Well, to go back to the sound part, as far as with our temple, me and our temple teamed up and we got a mix.
I'm sorry. What church you go to? You're not Baptist no more? Go ahead.
No, I'm not Baptist anymore. I actually went Pentecostal, so I'm just y'all asked me to come here, and so I'm gonna. No.
Come back and lay hands on your people. Where you hailing from here?
Good one, Sister Courtney.
97, Mouse Point, Mississippi. Pastor Elder Michael Young. Yeah, I know. I have my credentials.
All right.
But yes, as far as sound, like I stated earlier, we teamed up and we got a mixer. So our sound system, so to speak, it's we have, with our sound system, we wanted to bring the sound into our live stream. We use OBS as well. And so some of the challenges we face as far as with the sound, we don't have that pawn shop camera that y'all have. We don't have that pawn shop camera. You gotta get one. For some reason they didn't buy two, they just bought one, So We don't have that one. So actually, I use a camcorder. It costs about $200 at Walmart. It's a Sony camcorder, and the sound on it coming in, it doesn't have a good sound. So what we were able to do, we got a mixer, and we did have to buy a lapel, a wireless lapel to hook up to the mixer to bring in the sound a little bit better to our computer. I know it may sound like a lot, but it's really not. It really helped our sound a tad bit better as far as with what we were hearing, instead of getting that far away sound that you usually hear when you're live streaming from, as far as like as far as with a phone or anything else. So this is for the ones that, you can get a low end camera, not necessarily low end, but you don't have to go get the biggest, baddest camera in the land like that one that they have.
Well, listen, we only paid $500 for this camera at y'all pawn shop. Now, and Elder Tony Hines, I went to his pawn shop in Detroit and saw the same exact camera.
Y'all got that.
And since he can't use it, he can't use it no way. So he don't got his stuff. Sit down here, man. Let me break it in for you. Go ahead, Courtney. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. So for the ones that are wondering, they're looking at this particular camera. Like you said, it's $500. You may not have that budget. Like I said, Walmart has small camcorders that work just the same. Now, you may not get the best quality with it, but that's as far as going in OBS, learning how to change the settings and things of that nature to give that best picture. So for the people who are kind of, I guess, saying, we don't want to spend that much, and we don't want to spend that much, but we do want to learn this. OBS is free, but as far as the equipment, I think as far as everything we purchased was a mixer, a mic, and the video capture card. All in total, we spent maybe around $200. I think that's a little bit reasonable for considering everything that we have, and it works perfectly with our service. So that's one thing to consider as well.
Okay. All right. So then you need to teach us that, because some of our tech guys, they're trying to figure out how to go through the board as well.
That's what we're doing in national.
So that's something we need to do. All right. So are there any other questions? Any other questions?
Somebody said, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Why say we talking in tongues?
In tongues.
Well, if that's just a Laura Johnson from Chicago, Illinois, talking that talk. If she's on Zoom right now, she got half the ballot already.
Yeah.
Because that means you're not afraid of the technology. Not afraid of technology. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Any questions? Anything else you guys want to share?
To Mr. Michael Campbell, OBS is not it's not an app. Of course it's a software. You said what about OBS camera using different camera views? With OBS, if you I guess we're not introducing Restream as well. That's another thing is with OBS. OBS allows you to live stream to one platform at a time with one camera, but there is another software that you can use called Restream, which allows you to restream using one camera to multiple platforms. So that's another.
And what that really means is that you can simultaneously stream to Facebook, YouTube, another Facebook, so one service, one camera. We use Restream. Now,
right.
Also he asked Michael, I think it was Brother King in Houston. He asked how we're doing this thing in Zoom. Well, Zoom also allows you to stream.
Correct.
At least the pro version does, to other platforms. So, all right, very good, very good. Any other questions?
Talk to us a little bit about bringing a guest onto camera. Bringing a guest on the camera. We had it set up for Good Friday where we're gonna have a service, and then instead we had to go virtual, and then we figured out that Facebook don't let you bring a co-host on.
They quit that. They got rid of that capacity back in December. I don't know why.
We didn't have time to figure out how to do Zoom and all that and bring them on camera. So can you talk about that a little bit?
As far as through OBS?
Well,
is there a way if I'm live streaming to bring another guest on with me from another location at the same time? what platform would you recommend if I wanted to interview somebody?
Yeah.
I would suggest Zoom because you can't, as you can see now, we're live streaming to YouTube with Zoom right now. So you have the capacity to live stream to your Facebook platform or any other platform on OBS through Zoom. So I would suggest using Zoom where you can have multiple people pictures up there. There is a tutorial on YouTube where I watched where it shows you how to put each person picture up there side by side at one time, where you can have like a split screen with 2, 3, 4 guests at one time. Now, again, that is something a little bit more technical, but it is something that I can share with you and show you the tutorial with how you can do it.
Keep in mind, everybody, that Bnac is just meant to kind of get you interested. We're going to have master classes set up beginning in the month of May. And when you tune into a master class, it'll be a whole hour on just one of these subjects. And so if you didn't get everything answered today, this was meant to kind of get everybody to kind of wade in. Some folks, this is their very first time even on Zoom. And so Zoom can do a lot more things as well. We just didn't want to do it today because we had enough time doing the ordinary. So we're going to go ahead and close out here with the tech team. And if you would go ahead and put up contact, I know you can go to the national website and where it says contact us, there's an email, little envelope, we click the envelope and Brother Grace does manage our website. He can respond to your questions. But if you kind of hold tight, give us a week or so, we'll start announcing the master classes. You can just tune in for the whatever class that you want to go more in depth in. So it's kind of just a pretty much of a way of kind of gradually getting involved in it. So, okay, anybody from the team has any final remarks? All right, okay. Well, then we're going to allow the briefing committee people, I call them briefing, the Bnac team, to come back. And Jackie, Vaughn, are you there? Can you unmute Jackie? I see her hands up here, but I don't see that you have. Okay, all right. Well, let's hear from. Let's start with Sister Blackman. I'm going to unmute you and give us some final words there, Sister Dale.
Okay, I think we've had a fantastic day, learned a lot. I think we found some common threads in all of the presentations. I think everybody certainly talked about being prayerful about what you are going to be teaching, and then also having relevant topics, and then most of all, being prepared. So I'm really excited about the technology and just where we're going to go, because I don't think we're ever going to be where we were years before. So I just thank God for the opportunity to be part of this Bnac team and bring this information to you all. Also, I think at this juncture, I'm going to turn it over. If Jackie didn't pick up or we couldn't get Jackie back on, Jackie was going to go through and actually recognize our executive board, and that is so extremely important that we recognize the executive team. So Cherie, do you have the information? Are you available at this point to come back?
Yeah, so I have it, Dale, so thanks. So I'll go ahead and acknowledge our executive board, but before I do that, I want to personally send a special thank you to all of our first responders that are on this call or in our brotherhood. That's so important for those of you all that are still out there in the hospitals, firefighters, all of you all that are first responders and still going out there. We really want you to know that we appreciate you all and we're praying for you all during this season and during this time. So I want to first say that and say thank you very much for that. I just want to also acknowledge Dale and Jackie, who are also a part of the Bnac team, and really thank you all for all your support to make sure this continues. So I'm really grateful for both my sisters in that regard as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and introduce the executive board by name, because I do think that's very important that we acknowledge those leaders that are working for us, before us, and praying for us. So I'm going to acknowledge them. But before I acknowledge them by name, let me just remind all of our leadership that's on this call that have sacrificed time to be here. First, we apologize and thank you for allowing us to go past the time that we actually are scheduled for, because again, with all the kinks and everything being new and working it out, we want to thank you and just remind you that the whole purpose of us coming together, it really is just that, to prepare us, to get us ready for a very possible virtual national convention. We will be working with you, all the people that you see that have spoke and did presentations, we will be working with you monthly. So this is not a one-time it is done. The assistance and the help will be available for all the leaders to be able to perfect an actual virtual class in the month of, in the July 1st of August. So that's going to be available throughout until we get to July. So that will also be available. Let me just go ahead and acknowledge our bishop. This is in alphabetical order taken off of the actual website. So it's, that's where I'll be calling out the name. So we have Bishop Dowdy, Bishop Edwards, Bishop S.T. Goodlow, Bishop Hawkins, Bishop Randy Kelly, Bishop Lewis, Bishop Mitchum, Overseer Morgan, Elder Raymond Powell, Elder George Mims, Vice Chief Bishop Aaron Scruggs, Bishop T.L. Taylor, Bishop Townsend, Bishop Turner, Sister Jackie Vaughn, Chief Bishop Wardell, Bishop Lawrence White, and Bishop John Williams. And of course, that was in all alphabetical order. I do think Jackie Vaughn is on the call, but I'm just not sure why we cannot hear her. So she is on the call. She had acknowledged that. So I just want to thank the team and everybody for all your support and your prayers. Chief, I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Jackie, Dale, did you have something else that we forgot, or?
No, I think you hit it right on the head. And also the essential workers. I think, you know, we have the first responders, but we have a lot of people within our organization that are essential workers that are having to go out every day and risk their lives and their families' lives. And if they're from the delivery people who are delivering groceries, or the persons working in the nursing homes. And yeah, it's just some extreme times, and we certainly appreciate everybody. Almost made me want to get back out there. Hello.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Can you hear us?
Chief, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Jackie.
Oh, well, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Chief, for finally unmuting me. I've been trying for a minute, but I certainly appreciate this opportunity, and to thank everyone for being on this call. I mean, this was excellent.
I can see why you were late. You were getting your hair done, weren't you? I see why you.
Well, do I look different from last night? No, I was on. It was just something with what you were doing, but I certainly appreciate. I think maybe Pastor T or Grace kind of had me off. But anyway, this was exciting. All the presenters did an excellent job, and I'm just super excited about this. And I look forward to us doing this in July if we don't have the opportunity to see each other face to face. And with all the trainings that will happen between now and then, I'm sure we will be excellent in all of our presentations. So kudos to everyone who has worked to make this happen. And it's just super excited to just see everyone, even though it's virtually. Everyone looks great. All the presentations were great. And just kudos to the team for a job well done.
Amen.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much. We're about to move out and close. Before we have closing remarks from the Vice Chief, we've got to give that last chance to give out these Amazon cards. So we have 3 more questions left. We're going to share those 3 more questions. And let's see. Make sure I haven't messed nothing up here. Hold on, children. Where am I at? Okay. There we go. All right. Let me go back. Let me share what I need to share.
Hey,
now,
Chief.
These are the last 3 questions. We'll get our grand prize winners, and we'll know who's going to go back with those Amazon cards. And pray about it. You may want to send it back to me and honor leadership and all. Here we go. So far, we got 3 questions left. Here it is. There it goes. Which man served as America's first president? George Washington, John Hanson. Which man served as America's first president? I didn't get any answers on that. I don't know if y'all lost your signal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
the signal's lost.
Okay. Well, that may mean I'm going to have to go with who we got. Let's try one more time. But the answer is John Hanson was the first president, not George Washington. They lied to you. George Washington was the first president actually elected. Hanson was appointed by the Congress. All right. Let's go one more time. So we got here.
When you pause for a long time like that, sometimes you have to go back.
What vice chief was born in Dansby, Arkansas? Well, this, I guess we lost our connection. We waited too long. What vice chief was born in Dansby, Arkansas? Guess who? Vice Chief Scruggs, Dansby, Arkansas. It's not too big of a place, so you can throw a rock across the town and run and catch it.
Mhm.
All right, so final score. Who is the youngest bishop to serve as chief bishop?
Ah.
That's me. That's me on the left.
Yes.
For my hair fell out. If I lost my hair and my nerve.
You ain't never had that.
Okay, well, the answer is I think I'm the youngest chief bishop. Now let's go ahead and tally and see what we got.
Is TL's third? Hawkins.
So let me write this stuff down now so I can find who are. So the number one is going to be 6114. Number two. What's number two?
Bishop Hawkins.
All right, so look like the overseer and wife there for Noah must have come in at number one. Number two is Hawk. You got to figure out what Hawk that is. If it's the second district, I'm gonna confiscate that. I hope it's ain't Bishop Taylor. Number three.
It is.
All right, let me find out who I'm talking to here. All right, so I'm gonna unmute everybody for a minute here because I want to find out some stuff when we close here. All right. So, Noah, who came in? Who's FLORG?
Largo.
One. Okay. So that means first prize go to you all. So make sure you email me with your address.
Right now.
She's very generous. She don't want that card. No, let me know. No, but we'll get a $100 card to you.
Yay!
Here's number two.
Would be me. Hawkins.
Who is Hawk?
Bishop Hawkins.
Bishop Hawkins.
You don't see it.
Maybe you could help her make it better.
Now, if I can't find who Hawk is,
You start video, screen.
Must be muted.
okay, Bishop Hawk, is that you? Are you the Hawk?
Yes.
Not on my laptop, so.
That's all.
There he is. I said Bishop Hawkins. So then, are you number two?
Yes. Yes.
Bishop Hawkins, I can hear you. I can see you.
Eric almost here.
Are you number two guy?
Or not to sit in some water.
All right. Send me your
What do I need to do?
address for your $75 gift card.
No.
Good.
Yeah, that's what it
Hold on, one more to give out. $5. Is that Bishop T.L. Taylor?
And hit the chat button, and it will allow you to send a message.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Now. Bishop's winning this.
It's me.
Hey, 175, I guess that makes yours 50.
I get it.
Congratulations, everybody. Thank you all for joining out. Thank you all for joining. Congratulations. So let's do this before we go. Let's hear from Bishop Scruggs. And all right. So Bishop Scruggs, where are you, sir?
Everybody,
is he still G5?
Yes, sir.
iPad 5.
That's
I think it is.
Yeah.
It is
Been doing it for a long time, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know why.
There's so much noise I can hardly hear.
Everybody, Chief.
Say
mute everybody but Scruggs.
I'm doing it now. Can you hear me, Mr. Scruggs? Okay, let me mute everybody here. Okay, Mr. Scruggs, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we had a good time today. I think it's very productive. Give us your observations, and we'll close out in prayer.
Well, we just thank everyone for their presentations, and we thank everyone for getting up and gathering, and just seeing everyone around the globe in such a time as this. And we're just keeping our church in prayer as we go through this time of uncharted waters, uncharted time, but we know God is still in control. So we just thank God for all of you, and good seeing you again. Brother Chief, were you saying for close out in prayer? You gonna close out?
All right. Okay. Well, again, we thank you, Bishop. We want to say thank you to everybody who joined us today, and thank you for your patience. You know, this has been a new opportunity for us all to explore. I pray that it has kind of got you all more comfortable with technology. The executive board and I will be moving towards Zoom, towards our meetings. I hope that the national department heads will take advantage of all of the trainings that are coming up and your local temple. So remember, you said that we're going to have master classes beginning in May. So again, I want to certainly thank all the Bnac team, Sheree Mims, Jackie Vaughn, Dale Blackman, and all the individuals who took out part of their sorry to be here. God bless you all. So listen, we know that COVID-19 has created quite a lot of anxiety and fear, but I'm praying that you understand that according to 2 Timothy 1:7, that fear is a spirit, and that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but he's given us a spirit of love, of power, and a sound mind. And it's our prayer and our hope that the Spirit of God will bring some peace into your life. God is in the midst of this. You know, listen, nevertheless, whatever's going on, the Bible says, nevertheless, the foundations of God standeth sure. It's not shaken. God is not surprised by what's happening. The God I serve never learns. He's constantly cognizant and aware. But let's pray for a moment. Kind Father God, we thank you for those who've gathered here today. We thank you for your loving kindness, for your grace, for your mercy. Pray, Father, that those households here will be blessed. Allow your ministering angels to protect and cover them. Pour yourself strong and mighty, God, that you are to everything this week in our lives, that your strength might be perfected in our weakness. Now bless us, Father, as we labor to expand your kingdom here on earth. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Now make sure that you tune back here at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time for the conclusion of the weekend. This is Founders Day weekend. We will be doing a special financial plea because Founders Day has allowed us to accomplish a lot of things financially. So make sure that you go ahead, put your greens on now. Go ahead, wash them first. Wash that COVID off the greens. Put the greens on first. Get everything ready, because when Sunday at 6 o'clock come Central Standard Time, we'll be going live on several platforms. We're looking forward to seeing you again in the service of the Lord. God bless you. God keep you. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow evening. Thank you all. Have a good evening.